Want to interact with us? Follow us on Twitter at the RCWR Show.
Warning, the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR Show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., as featured on Wrestling8.com and TNA Insider, Lee Sanders.
And a very good Monday night to you, boys and girls. What is up? It's the Black Avenger, a.k.a. the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders. You are checking out a special Monday night edition of the RCWR Show for January 13th, 2014. Very good Monday night to you all. We got a double dose for you guys today. We're doing a really cool interview with a special guest. I'm sure you guys have been probably checking out the tweets and all that over the weekend, so you guys already know who it is. And for those of you that don't, you're going to enjoy it even more. But we're coming at you guys with a double dose tonight for two shows. Count them, two shows. We'll do this part with our special guest, and then I'll definitely give you the details on what we're going to be doing later on tonight, as we're going to be talking all things wrestling. Hey, we'd love to hear from you guys during the course of this episode. You can hit us up on Twitter at the RCWR Show. We have the chat room at BTR open for you guys right now. Hop on in there when you get a free moment, especially if you have a question or a comment for our guests. We'd love to hear from you. One more time, Twitter at the RCWR Show. While you're at it, take the time out, give us a follow on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. And as always, we do welcome phone calls from you guys. If you can get away from eating supper, we'd love to hear from you. The number to call, as always, is 646-478-3525. One more time, that's 646-478-3525. All right, on that note, let's have at it, boys and girls. All right, so our guest tonight, and I've been pumped up for this interview for a good minute. He can be seen every Thursday night on TNA IMPACT WRESTLING, live on Spike TV, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. He's no stranger to the world of professional wrestling, having wrestled for the NWA Anarchy promotion after serving in the Iraq War. Being a former NWA National Heavyweight Champion, he's been making his mark in the TNA Wrestling promotion, having been part of the Immortal stable with Murphy. You guys remember Murphy, for you veteran hardcore TNA fans. He's gone from that to teaming up with Kid Cash, feuding with Chavo and Hernandez for the TNA tag titles, to partnering and feuding with the Cowboy, James Storm. Now this Thursday, live, and that's January 16th, he's going to be involved in TNA Wrestling's Genesis free pay-per-view event on Spike TV, as he's going to be facing James Storm in a ladder match for the world title Feast or Fired briefcase. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Gunner. Gunner, how you doing, bro?
Great, man. How are you guys?
Hey, doing pretty good, man. How was your weekend?
It's been great. Been busy. We had live events and near the Knoxville, Tennessee area. So it's been a couple good shows we had Friday and Saturday, and got back home, and it was a busy weekend, but nonetheless, great.
Yeah, I actually saw some of the pictures that came about from some of those events. Yeah, you guys had a really great turnout.
Yeah, I did. McMinnville, which is a couple hours from Knoxville, a little bit more towards Nashville, was a really, really good show. We started running a little smaller venues, which is actually nice. Kind of takes you back to that old NWA feel, and they pack in there, they get really, really loud, and Saturday's crowd was really good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. It really means a lot. Now, you know, it's funny, Gunner, that we're here tonight, because I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, literally, as I was preparing to chat with you, and I couldn't believe this when I thought about it, bro, but it's almost been 4 years since you came through TNA Wrestling. You talk about time flying by. Now, I'm sure for veteran TNA fans, they might remember when you first came into TNA with Murphy, as you all started off as security guards, handling Eric Bischoff's dirty work before becoming actual wrestlers. I know you stated in a previous interview a while back last year how Terry Taylor was instrumental in getting you in the door since day one, but it was also D'Lo Brown who got you noticed by upper management as he hooked you up with dark matches early on. I've personally heard so many good things about D'Lo Brown behind the scenes, working with talent, especially during the TNA Gut Check seminars. What was it like working with him, and is his presence greatly missed, as I know he had left recently?
Yeah, touching on Terry obviously got, he had come down to Anarchy a few times and a couple other independent shows within the Carolinas and Georgia, and had met me and really gotten my foot in the door with TNA. But when it came to the actual dark matches, Terry Taylor, he was gone, and D'Lo, who helped me out also before the TNA day. I did a lot of extra stuff for WWE back in 2008 and early 2009 before I signed with TNA, and D'Lo helped me there too. But D'Lo is still a good friend, still a guy to keep in touch with. He give me the opportunity, or me and Murphy, I should say, to have the opportunity to work Ink, our first dark match, and from there it was just obviously, leads to now. But yeah, definitely, I think D'Lo's missed, not only just by me, but a lot of the guys. We all got along with him, traveled with him. He did a lot of the live event house shows with us, and I still keep in touch with him. He's doing a lot of stuff in Japan, so he's staying busy, but he's definitely greatly missed on my side.
Now, I'm sure we probably have those veteran TNA fans that's wondering, do you still keep tabs with Murphy? What he's been up to?
Oh, yeah. Murphy, a.k.a. Michael Judas, who still wrestles down at the Anarchy building in Cornelia, Georgia. We got a history together, really. In 2006 is when I first met him after I got out of the military, the Marine Corps, and started wrestling with Georgia's NWA Anarchy at the time. And, we had a long feud against each other and did some tags with each other, but then, both of us started the security gig with TNA. Terry got us both in the door. And I actually saw Judas Murphy a couple weeks ago. I went down there and did some stuff with AJ Styles for one of the Anarchy's big shows. And we keep in touch probably once every other week or so. We're talking, and he's doing good. He runs his own fitness center, and he still does independent shows. So he's staying busy as always. I always say he had something great to fall back on because he went to school for nutrition and physical or personal training. So he's a very smart person when it comes to that stuff.
I was just talking about it earlier. We saw you in the Immortal stable a little bit more than 3 years ago. I would like for you to tell the folks that might not know, how did the opportunity come for you to be a part of that stable?
I think it kind of just fell in our lap. It was really, we were doing the security deal, and then they teamed me and Murphy up to start, obviously being a tag team. It didn't last long. We were a tag team, I guess, a couple months, really. Did some house shows together, and then I got the TV title. But from there, they put us in the Immortal faction. I think it's really just to kind of get our foot in the door, maybe, and get seen by the fans and go, okay, hey, these guys are important. It was a good way to start building us as characters, I believe. And we just kind of got thrown in the mix. It's one of those things where I've always got along with Eric Bischoff and Hulk, and they enjoyed my work, which, is great. And it was one of those things where they needed, muscle. So there we were, kind of the bruisers for them, and we just kind of, it went from there. I mean, I stayed with the Immortal until they disbanded, really. And, once Murphy left, but I was still kind of the singles guy for them. Did the little feud with Garrett Bischoff and all that stuff. But it was really cool. I mean, it was really cool to work beside guys I grew up watching. The fan side of me, it was really great to get input from Hulk Hogan and Bischoff and, all those guys that were in the Immortal faction.
You think about some of the names that's part of that stable that you were part of. You just mentioned Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan. Hell, we had Ric Flair in there, Jeff Jarrett, Hardy Boy, Scott Steiner. You talk about years and years of wrestling experience in that stable. How surreal was it to be working with such an elite group of talent? And just how respectful were they to you, being the new kid on the block in the stable?
It's funny you mentioned, because I was listening to a podcast with Jericho on it the other day, and he talked about when he first got to WCW, and he was in the locker room with all these guys he grew up watching, Flair and Steamboat and Sting and everybody, and it kind of made me realize how I felt like when I first started there. Was that fan of that mark-up moment where I was like, oh my God, I'm in the ring with Hulk Hogan, and I was being managed by Ric Flair for a little while, and it was really cool, but then you have to set that aside, and I was like, okay, well, this is my job now, and it was very surreal, but also at the same time, they were my peers then, you know, and it was me trying to impress them, trying to keep my job, and trying to let them know that I'm a workhorse, and what I wanted to do is I want to be the best. And getting a lot of advice from Flair. We did a lot of live events together where at the time I was feuding with Garrett, so, you know, Flair's at my side. And to be able to have a man like Ric Flair, you know, arguably the greatest ever, and he was always there to give me input. And just really cool to be around. Really cool to be around Hulk and just talk to him about, you know, the good old days, I guess you can say, and he, you know, giving me ideas on character and just, you know, working the crowd and, you know, whatnot, the insides of the business that, you know, a lot of people don't know about or don't learn this day and time, I should say. You know, and a lot of people don't take the time to teach the young guys like myself, and it was a good opportunity for me.
You know, over the years, we've seen you in different tag team stables. For the NWA Anarchy fans, they remember you probably with Truett Fields. Then you did your thing with Murphy, Kid Cash, James Storm, all during your time in TNA. I'm sure each man brought something new to the table, a new perspective, if you will, that's helped shape you and your career. Could you talk a little bit about your experience teaming with each one, and overall, who did you enjoy working with the most and why?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, starting with Truett Fields as a guy that me and him were in the Marine Corps together. Got out pretty much the same time in 2006. Traveled every weekend, unless we were deployed, from Camp Lejeune to just wherever we went. I mean, round trips of 20 hours, if not more. And teamed a lot. As we got out, we did the NWA Anarchy thing, and we didn't team long, I believe, in Anarchy. But Truett was, you know, still is one of my good friends, and we keep in touch. We had a great time together, a lot of feuds. I also teamed with Timo, one of the guys that I was part of the NWA Elite, which I think as far as independent wrestling, that was my most fun time because we were down there. We had a lot of heat with the crowd. We were really, really hated, and a lot of really good feuds. And then obviously Murphy, that, you know, really didn't last long, but it was our foot in the door, and it was my way of getting seen because, you know, you got great tag teams throughout history of professional wrestling. And majority of the time, you can always pick out the person who stands out the most, and that's always been my, I guess my goal is to just stand out, whether I'm in a tag team or whether I'm in a 6-man or whatever. And then you know, Kid Cash did a little deal with Kid Cash. They put us together. We got to run with Chavo and Hernandez, which was awesome. Working with Chavo, you know, one of the Guerreros, is just obviously phenomenal. Learned a lot from Eddie. And then you know, I was off for a good 8 months from Impact, and they brought me back in the team with Storm, and really, it was really fun, honestly. Like, me and James got along well. We both. I've always enjoyed tag team wrestling as a kid. I think it's a lost art now, and it's something that you know, me and James, and he even did it with Bobby Roode and Beer Money. They would always try to make it not be a lost art, if that makes sense. They would always do things that you saw back in the '80s, and you know, cutting the ring off if they were heels or whatnot. And the team with James was my foot back in the door from you know, sitting at home for 8 months. But you know, I think the most fun as far as the tag team I've had has been with. I can go two different ways. You know, most fun independently was with Chemo and the Elite, but most fun being with Impact is, you know, James. I mean, we've had a lot of good matches on these house shows and live events with Kaz and Daniels. Done a lot of good stuff with the Bromans back in October at Bound for Glory. And James is just a good guy to learn from, and just, you know, he's been at the American Most Wanted, Beer Money. He's been in 2 great tag teams that you can sit there and talk about all day, and you know, for me to be able to team with him and just, you know, gain his knowledge, because he's been with the company pretty much since the opening day, so it's a good guy to come back in, I guess, and team with.
Interesting. Okay. There was one thing that I've been noticing about TNA Wrestling as of late, and that's there used to be a time in the company when we'd see other big guys like Matt Morgan, Crimson, Mike Knox, Abyss on a consistent basis. Nowadays, it appears that the days of big guys in the company is starting to fade, as we're now down pretty much to you and Magnus. Do you feel that it puts any pressure on you, or is it a case where it really doesn't matter?
No, I think it. You know, you got me, Magnus, and Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode is you know, me considered a heavyweight and a big guy, but I don't know, honestly, if you know, obviously TNA's always been really big about the X division and different styles and different aspects of wrestling, and I think that wrestling is totally different now than it was when, obviously when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s with everything. Everybody was big. You never saw the smaller guys. I don't really think it puts any pressure on us. It kind of definitely puts you in an elite category. Like you said, you named us three, or us two, me and Magnus there. And yeah, you don't see the big guys after Crimson and Matt Morgan and those guys left. I don't really think it puts any pressure. I think you go out there because it gives me an opportunity, which I've always enjoyed, even in independence when I was at Anarchy, wrestling different style wrestlers. You got Austin Aries who can do anything. I mean, he's great in the ring. You have Bobby Roode, wrestles a different style. You have Chris Sabin, and it gives us as big guys an opportunity to be very diverse in what we do and I think better ourselves. And that's something I've always tried to pride myself on, is learning different styles, whether it be high flying. Of course, I'm not going to come off the top rope unless maybe it's with an elbow drop, but it's good to know those different styles, to work at like a Japanese style or a lucha style or a big man style. It's always good because the wrestling business is totally different now than it was, say, in the 90s when, two big guys were just duking it out. So, I mean, I think it's really a really good opportunity for all of us just to really step up our game, too.
Okay. You were talking about Hulk Hogan just a little bit earlier. I want to follow up on that. Of course, we all know he left the company last year. But, it seems TNA Wrestling has really been going in a new direction, so to speak, as far as the push of younger talent. We've seen you step up big time. Ethan Carter III, Sam Shaw, Rockstar Spud, the Bromans, Magnus, all be elevated. As on top of all that, Dixie Carter had recently tweeted that there's going to come a serious change at Genesis, as it appears that we're going to be seeing even more new talent appear in the company. It almost seems like we're seeing a new movement, so to speak, in the company when comparing it to how it was several months ago before Hogan's exit. As some would say, it was dominated by veteran wrestlers with little spotlight on newer and younger talent. What's your take when you hear something like that?
Well, it's I think it's going to be a good change. You named all of us, an EC3, the newer guys that may be coming in, but you still have the Kurt Angles and the Jeff Hardys and the veterans that I think are in that position to help younger guys like myself out, not only learn more, but see if I can obviously handle the pressure of being in that main event spot. And, I think it's a good change for Impact because TNA has always been that company since day one where the younger guys, AJ Styles and Chris Daniels and all these guys, TNA's always been about different new young talent. And there for a while, I kind of got away from that, I feel. But now I think that, Dixie and she tweeted about it, as you mentioned, and I think that it's a good spot to be. I mean, I'm 32 years old, and obviously I want to be the next superstar of Impact Wrestling, and you can only do so much until they give you that platform to perform on. So with that being said, being 2014, a new year, they are looking for the new face of the company. There's been a lot of changes, but I think the new face of the company is, something different, something new, something the fans can latch on to. The fans want to see different stuff. They don't want to see the same guys year in and year out do the same stuff all the time. It's always, that's the thing about, WWE's always got new, fresh guys coming in and changing the product. And I think it's good for our company that Dixie is going to, not only Dixie, but I mean the company in general is going to give us younger guys an opportunity to really stand out and see what we can do.
Okay. Last year we had also TNA Wrestling, I think around the same time this year, but last year we saw TNA Wrestling leave Orlando studios to take to the road full time. And for the hardcore fan, this was like a dream come true because the action was going to be coming to their neck of the woods. Now, to close out last year, fans will find out TNA had to change up their game plan to basically save money, and we all can understand that, as they're now going off the road, at least frequently, to performing at gymnasiums, wherever. And all this is going on as TNA Wrestling is trying to find a new permanent venue to host pay-per-views, Impact Wrestling, and all that. To that fan that's been with the product for so many years, Gunner, that may have concerns about the future of the company, what would you say to them? Because they're probably saying to themselves, if they've been with the product this long. They're probably saying something like this should have been going down 11 years ago. I can't tell you how many folks I talk to, private messages or whatever, and one of the main questions I keep getting is what's going on with the company? Are they okay?
Yeah, I think that, obviously going on the road was a big a big jump to be a younger company. I mean, even from, I talked to Earl Hebner a lot about, the early days in WWF when he started and the venues that they would run. And they would run smaller, Vince would run smaller places also. He didn't jump right into these big arenas unless he was running a big syndicated TV or a huge event or something like that. And I think that TNA being 11 years old, we're really a baby company right now as far as that aspect. I think that, with us running smaller venues, it's a good thing because we can fill these really small venues and then really make the product or bring the crowd into a smaller venue, and they seem like they want to be a part of the show. When we went on the road, the arenas were hit or miss, and the Orlando thing was always, was wide open. I mean, place was always usually packed. I think in the future, like we have Genesis is going to be in Huntsville, Alabama, so it's in an arena. We're doing spot TVs, I know, throughout the year of 2014 on the road. So some are going to be in Orlando, some are going to be on the road. That way it is saving money and not so much money's forked out. We're doing a series of TVs over in the UK, which is always great because the UK crowd is just, we're like rock stars over there. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. They give it all. And, I think that 2014 is going to be a different year for us as far as not being on the road as much. But I don't think we don't have to worry about the company going out of business or anything. There's a lot of changes is being made right now for that, and to make sure that that Impact Wrestling stays afloat. I mean, we have the diehard fans, and we have the Spike TV deal, and we just signed a new UK TV deal, so stuff like that is looking good for us.
Yeah, about the Spike TV deal, I don't know how much you know, but if you could clear it up, I really would appreciate it. We keep hearing that TNA Wrestling has signed a deal with Spike TV. This was said like last year that you guys signed a 5-year extension, and yet we're hearing that Spike TV, TNA Wrestling, the deal is supposed to expire October of this year. What have you been hearing?
I really haven't heard much of anything. I know that we did sign a last time I heard was a 3-year deal with them. Really, I don't know as far as the inside scoop on a lot of that. There's so many rumors. I mean, obviously, the internet's fun to read sometime about rumors on everything. So really, I can't answer that because I don't know the exact details about the Spike TV stuff.
Fair enough. Of course, the hottest topic right now, AJ Styles, and folks listening, we're not going to rehash all that. I'm sure you guys probably know what's been going on with all that. But Gunner, I want to ask you straight up, do you think that TNA fans will ever see him back in the company? Because for veteran fans of the TNA product like myself, that there's been one thing that has been consistent about TNA, I can say, and that's pretty much who's the face of TNA Wrestling. And I think a lot of people would give AJ Styles that title. With him gone, do you and others see this maybe as an opportunity even more to make your mark in the company, laying down a new legacy?
Yes, I do. And I think, to answer the question, I think the fans will eventually see AJ Styles back. I mean, he was with him from day one when the doors first opened, and he really is, like, in my opinion, the poster child, the golden child of Impact Wrestling. He's a guy that I've been in the ring with, and honestly is probably one of my favorite guys to work with. And he's a guy that no matter size, no matter who you are, how old you are, he can get in there and work around your weaknesses to make you look good. He's just a guy that I think really needs to be there as far as for younger guys like me to help build future stars. But and on another note, when one door closes, another one opens for someone else. And I mean, that's the professional wrestling business. And really, the thing is once that door closes on somebody, there's always that opportunity for that next person to step up, and that's my goal. I mean, really, since I was a kid, since I was 5 years old, this is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do this to be rich. Obviously, I can pay my bills, which is wonderful. I wanted to do this because I loved professional wrestling as a kid. I loved characters. I loved what they did, and I still do to this day. And I wanted to be the best. Ever since I was 5, I didn't want to just do it. I didn't want to be a mid-card guy. I wanted to be a main event guy. I wanted to be a champion. And once that door closes on someone, like I said, another one opens for someone else. And I really think it's a huge, obviously, no one's going to fill AJ Styles' boots, and I never say I'm going to try and fill AJ Styles' boots, but I'm there to stand in my own and try to make my own legacy, and really, the pressure's on, but it's a good opportunity for a guy like me to be able to step up if given the opportunity, and I think shine. So, yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's big shoes to fill, man, like we say, and I think AJ will be back eventually. Don't know time frame, but he's a very valuable individual, and just well respected in the locker room.
Wrestling fans all around the world, they heard about the announcement of the WWE Network, and I had actually did a special spotlight on this over the weekend and had talked about the pros and the cons of the network. The biggest con of all is that by WWE making this move, all cable and satellite providers, they may drop WWE pay-per-views altogether and or look to other options as far as wrestling promotions, MMA, concert events, etc. And then on the flip side to that, I talked about the biggest pro of them all, which is the fact that the WWE Network, you basically are no longer paying $40 to $60 a pop for a pay-per-view, as you can get it for $10 a month if you subscribe to the network. This basically means that one has more money to invest with other wrestling promotions. They can really support independent wrestling and those respected pay-per-views, iPay-per-views, etc. Do you feel that WWE has created a new opportunity for wrestling promotions collectively, including TNA Wrestling, to be able to take control of the spotlight more in presenting their content to a broader and newer audience?
I think so, and it's a conversation I had the other day with, unfortunately, when I was growing up, pay-per-views were the huge thing. I mean, it was every month my father was paying the money for me to watch both WWF and WCW. And now it's really, because of the internet, because of everything is being, given free half the time, it is a dying business, I guess, when it comes to professional wrestling pay-per-views. And it's just like the music business where, these musicians aren't making a lot of money on music sales anymore. They're making all their money on the road doing concerts because everything is, you can get on these pirate websites and everything's downloaded. But I think it's going to be a good thing. It's something that we started a little bit last year when we kind of cut our monthly pay-per-views down to just 4 big ones a year. And as in, Genesis, even Genesis was one of our big ones that was on pay-per-view, and Dixie decided to do the televised pay-per-view. So I think that, I think it's going to open up a lot of doors for, just something that's going to be new for professional wrestling. I feel like it, I really truly believe that the pay-per-view business is kind of a dying thing, and everybody's smartening up and going, okay, well, let's just start doing this on TV, or let's do like WWE's doing with the network, and charge a monthly fee or whatever they're doing. And I think it's a smart idea because people are going to pay that monthly fee, and on top of that, not only get pay-per-views for whatever they're doing, but they're getting unlimited access to professional wrestling. And we have the TNA On Demand kind of thing where obviously you can go back and watch, old stuff from 2006 and on and on. So it's really, it seems like everybody's doing that now. It's all about the packages instead of trying to do a monthly thing. It's really costing a lot of money. So I think it's a good thing in the end for ratings and just for business.
Yeah, it's funny you were mentioning the TNA, you talking about the premium channel on YouTube, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just over there over the weekend, and I was telling folks about it. I said, wow, because something new that I had saw that I thought was really awesome was the Freeview Classic Compilation Series. I mean, you talk about the meat and potatoes of TNA Wrestling. Anybody that isn't aware of that, it's free. That's why they're calling it Freeview Classic Compilation Series. Yeah, a lot of good stuff that's on there. Yeah, because you guys, you've actually been experimenting with premium content for a while now.
Oh yeah, it's really cool for me. I like to go back and watch a lot of the old stuff from TNA, and I think it's really cool. I mean, YouTube's a big thing now, man, and all this internet pay-per-view, it's the way to go. I mean, it's really, I think before long everything is going to be streamed live or however it's done now. A lot of people with the cable companies are going to be different. I think everything's going to be off of apps. I mean, you got Netflix, and it's kind of, I believe that from what I get, that's what the WWE Network's going to kind of be like a Netflix app that you can pay a monthly fee for. And it's something that the Impact and TNA will probably jump on the board pretty soon for that. I know we're doing a pay-per-view over in the UK, but our ratings and stuff over in the UK are a lot different than they are in the US, and that's the same for WWE. That's just everything's kind of given away here. So.
Yeah, it's very weird, but yeah, I'm glad that TNA is having great success in the UK. I know you guys are getting ready to prepare for a UK tour coming up, end of the month or beginning of next month?
Yeah, January 27th we get over there, and then January 29th through February 2nd, I believe, is our all of our shows. It's pretty much 5 or 6 days in a row. We're doing a number of TV tapings over there, so it's going to be a busy time, but it's leading up to lockdown, which is going to be in March. And I believe the location for lockdown is supposed to be announced on Thursday, so I can't really drop any bombs on that one yet.
Okay, all right, no problem. We'll wait patiently then. I've seen you on quite a few lists going around on the net about the top 5 or 10 guys to watch in TNA Wrestling this year, as far as who's going to be that breakout star to have just a really great overall year. And I think many are expecting you at some point this year to be the TNA champion, whether it's because of that briefcase you currently are holding or otherwise. Where would you like to see yourself? It's probably an obvious question, but I just got to ask, where do you see yourself in 2014? And let's go further than that and say in the next 3 years from now in the company.
In 2014, I think 2014 is going to be my year. I know I've put it out there a little bit, but I really feel that they're finally, not only the fan base and, my peers, but even the company's finally getting behind the fact that I'm going to give them all I can give them, and they won't actually give me a little bit of an opportunity, which I'm thankful for. Like I said, I'm 32 years old. I'm still young. And I would love to have the World Heavyweight title in 2014. If I'm ready for it, then so be it. And but working towards it, that's my goal, is to be the TNA champion and be respected in the locker room as one of those guys that works hard no matter if we have a big crowd or a small crowd. And, that's really my main goal for 2014 is, it's cool to hear that, my peers and the fans are really, I think, expecting me. So, and I've always been about not letting people down. Ever since I was a kid in school or when I was in boot camp, I never wanted to let myself down, but I didn't want to let my peers down or, my higher-ups down either. So that's the main thing, is I always try to work hard 110% no matter what. And the next 3 years, I definitely see myself as the heavyweight champion within the next 3 years. I think that, as long as my health and my career keep going the way it is, and me learning and getting the chance to work with a lot of these good guys like Bobby Roode, I think that it's, obviously speaks for itself that you got 3 years, a lot of time that I can put in, and really, I want to be the face of the company. I want to be that next AJ Styles, but, obviously I want to make my own mark as well.
We got the TNA Genesis free pay-per-view event coming up on Spike TV. I definitely want to go over some of these matches with you that's on the card. Get your take on who you'd like to see walk out of here victorious or what fans could expect, and we'll definitely talk about your match. Let's start off with the TNA Knockouts title. We got Gail Kim defending against a returning Madison Rayne, who's only been back just a couple of weeks now. Madison beat Gail at her own game in the Gail Kim Open Challenge. You think Lady Luck can strike twice in a row for the lovely Madison?
Yeah, I think so. I've watched these two ladies put on just awesome matches here in the past 2 or 3 weeks on these live events that we've had, and Madison come back, and she really it didn't seem to me like she missed a beat. She come back from having a child, and she's one of the girls that I've really enjoyed watching work since I started with 2009, and a girl I watched want to get better, and you can see her getting better throughout the year in and year out. So I think that that's going to be a good one. And Gail Kim is one of the knockouts that really goes out there. She's another one that works just as hard whether we have a big crowd or a small crowd, and she wants to put on the best match of the night. Not only with the females, but she wants to put on the best match of the night, period, throughout the whole company. And that's a good way to be. I think everybody should be like this. So my pick for that one, I think, could be Madison Rayne. I think that, that she's got a really good opportunity to take that title. So she knows what she's doing, and she's got the fans behind her. So it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds with that one. But I think Madison Rayne.
I gotta side with you on that one. I think Luck's going to be a lady twice. Madison Rayne, new Knockouts champion. Let's see. We got Sting versus Ethan Carter III. Ethan is still undefeated in singles competition since debuting at last year's BFG pay-per-view. The icon Sting feels like EC3's being spoon-fed by Aunt Dixie and wants to take him to school, teach him to be humble. How you see this one playing out?
Honestly, I hate it for Stinger because I'm a big Sting fan, and he's, obviously one of the greatest. But I think EC3 is going to find some way to sneak one over. You got Rockstar Spud, you have Dixie, Magnus is even in that little faction now. He's the champion, so he may not stick his nose in that, but there's a lot of factors going against Sting getting a pinfall, but Sting has been known to fight many men off and, 1 on 3 or 4 and still come out on top. But I don't know, with EC3, I enjoy watching him in the ring as far as a performer. His attitude's a little silly, and he wears Crocs, which he tweeted the other day, so I had to take his man card on that one because no man wears Crocs, so I hope he don't wear Crocs. But I really enjoy his work in the ring. He's got his promo skills and everything, but as far as a new guy coming in the company, he's definitely doing a great job. I hate to pick against Sting, but as far as that one, I think EC3, just because of the odds are against Stinger.
I gotta side with you. I gotta go with EC3 as well. How about Mr. Anderson taking on Bully Ray? This is a weird development that's been going on right here, especially at Bully's end. I'm not sure what to expect of this because I don't know if this is really going to be a match that we can expect or something on a supernatural level.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of personal issues going on in that one, and they have had their little spot before with when Ken pretty much turned and got away from the Aces and Eights stuff, and but Bully's been kind of a thorn in his side lately, and mentioning his unborn children and his wife, and it's been a different development for this storyline, but I think I would pick Ken Anderson for that one. I think Ken's got a lot of built-up frustration right now, and once this match starts, there's no getting out of it. There's no running. I think that Ken's going to be victorious. That's definitely my pick.
I want to side with you, but I don't know, man. Bully Ray's been doing some supernatural stuff. I think he's going to be tapping into that. I think some dark forces in a Jedi type of way are going to be coming into play to help him win.
Seems like he's always got tricks, up his sleeve. When it came to him holding the heavyweight title, he always has something up his sleeve. But I've been in the ring with Ken too, and Ken is he's definitely a fighter. Yeah, it's a mix, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's close to call. We got 2 more matches here. We got probably one of the main biggest ones that a lot of fans are going to be paying attention to. Kurt Angle taking on Bobby Roode. A lot at stake right here, as if Angle loses, he will never be inducted in the TNA Hall of Fame. Bobby Roode has had Kurt Angle's number on at least 3 occasions recently. Some would argue 5, but in either case, he's had the 1996 Olympic gold medalist number. What do you think fans can expect of this match?
Yeah, it's guys, these 2 guys right here, you never know what to expect because you go back to Bound for Glory, 2011, I believe is when him and Bobby wrestled for the title. And so Bobby, I think, is going to go back and have that in mind, too, that he didn't win that night, and that was a big night for him. But this is a really big feud going on. First of all, Kurt Angle is a machine in the ring, and he will do anything to win, and we've seen that. We've seen that in the 1996 Olympics. We've seen that every time he went, wrestled for a heavyweight title. But then you have Bobby Roode, too, who I think, in my personal opinion, is one of the best in TNA right now. And he's a guy that doesn't quit either. These guys seem to have an endless amount of air supply when it comes to wrestling in the ring, because you can see some guys get winded throughout, a 20 or 25-minute match, but neither one of these guys seem to ever slow down, and I've been in the ring with both of them, so I know that personally. But I'm going to pick. I'm going to say Kurt Angle, just because he with the amateur wrestling background, he's going to know a lot more different ways to win. He's got the ankle lock. He's got a couple of different submissions. I'm going to pick Kurt Angle on this one.
I'm with you on Kurt Angle. I think just the fact alone that Bobby Roode has had his number on a few different occasions in 2013 going into this year, I think Kurt Angle has a huge chip on his shoulders. I definitely would dare say he's going to be going all balls out over Roode. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And of course, we got your match. You're going to be taking on the Cowboy, James Storm. Ladder match for your Feast or Fired briefcase. I mean, you guys former tag champions, and now you're going to be looking at each other opposite sides of the ring. What is your mindset going into this match?
My mindset is totally different going into this match than it has been for any match ever in my career, just because of what is on the line. I mean, it's the World Heavyweight title shot. I got my opportunity here to shine, to take this briefcase and cash it in and become a World Heavyweight Champion. James Storm's tasted the gold before. You know, I've, when it comes to a World Heavyweight title other than the tag team titles, I've never had that single shine yet. And I am going to give it everything. I've been working hard, harder in the gym than I usually work, which is to me insane, and some people say the same thing. I've been doing a lot more cardio. I'm a firm believer of watching matches. I still watch stuff from the 80s and 90s and just try to learn and be better. And going into this match, it's not a wrestling match anymore. I think it's going to be more of a fight. You know, me and him had a pretty good knockdown drag out a couple weeks ago in Impact where, you know, it just ended in a double count out. And we're really at each other's throat right now. We set our differences aside a little bit this past weekend and did some tag matches, but when it comes down to it, he's upset that you know, I pretty much stepped over him to get the briefcase, but in reality, he would have done the same exact thing. And here is a young guy, me, and here is a guy that's been in the company for a while, James Storm, two guys that want the same thing, and that's the World Heavyweight title shot. But I'm just going into it, going to give it all, and going to try and keep that briefcase, because I definitely don't want to lose that, because you lose that and you got to start over.
Exactly. And you know, Gunnar, I want to ask you, because this has definitely been on the minds, I'm sure, of a lot of TNA Impact Wrestling fans, and they're noticing the fact that good old Magnus, the undisputed TNA champion, doesn't appear to have a match on this card. If you were to walk away with the briefcase, by chance, would you be looking to challenge the TNA champion later on that night for the title?
I think being a smart guy, I shouldn't, because of you know, obviously, if he doesn't have a match, he's not going to be tired, worn out. I would be. But I've never been known to be a smart guy. I've always been known to be a fighter. And I joined the Marine Corps for one reason, because I wanted to be the best. All the military does the same thing, but in my mind, the Marines are the best. We're the first in and the last out. And in my career, I try and keep it the same way. I'm pretty silly sometimes, but I'm a fighter. I don't like to back down from anything. And I think that if I win the match with James, that it could be a huge possibility that I cash it in and call him out that night. Because there's two times I've called him out already, and one night he was supposedly across the pond having a party, and the next night the next week he just kind of denied me my opportunity there. So I'm a little irritated with him right now.
I know that's right. I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. All right. Tell the good folks how they can stay in contact with you for all the latest updates, where Impact Wrestling is going to be heading, or any personal appearances you're going to be making, things of that nature.
Yeah, sure. My Twitter is @TNA_Gunner. I have an Instagram account also. It's just Gunner82. And my Facebook is TNA Gunner. There's a few fakes on the Facebook thing, so you can usually tell mine between the fakes because of the amount of followers I have on mine. I believe there's a little close to 5,000. So that's how you kind of know that I'm the real one on Facebook. But I always try and interact with the fans when it comes to Twitter. I answer as many questions as I can and just let them know what I'm doing. They always ask about my training, or, you know, I'm a big music fan. They always ask me about my music or my career, or, you know, anything. And I try my best to keep up with you guys out there, so any questions, any tweets, I'll try and reply to everything. And as far as shows, you know, we got this Thursday night in Huntsville, Alabama for Genesis. We have Friday night in Mobile, Alabama. And Saturday night we are in, I believe, Dothan, Alabama. I don't know how you pronounce that, but that's it. And in Albany, Georgia on Sunday. And I still do a lot of independent appearances, and, you know, I tweet about those constantly, and I put them on my Facebook as far as my schedule. I have some independent shows in February down in the near the Atlanta, Georgia area. So anybody interested in those, I'm always putting my schedule out there. So try and interact. Social media is definitely a huge thing now, and it's really a good way to promote yourself, and that's what I do. I try to talk to as many folks as I can out there.
Well, Gunner, look, we definitely want you to stay in contact with us. I know we're following you on Twitter. Feel free to give us a follow back when you can. Stay in contact. As anything, brother, we can do to help or promote, we'd love to. And we definitely had a blast having you on the show. We definitely, as we always tell all our guests, and a vast majority of them always take us up on the offer. You're more than welcome to come on back, whether it's to talk Impact Wrestling or some of these independent dates you're going to be working in the near future. Love to have you back.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll keep in touch, and hopefully next time I'll have that world heavyweight title around my waist, and we can talk about that.
Yes, definitely. All the best for Genesis this week, and have a good, productive week and a good weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and look forward to next time.
All right, take care. One more time, give it up for our special guest, TNA Impact Wrestling's own Gunner, for stopping by the show. You'll be able to catch him at the free pay-per-view event known as Genesis. It's going to be on Spike TV beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. Check that out. He's going to be involved in a ladder match for his Feast or Fired briefcase. That should be a really great free pay-per-view event that's going to be coming up. And don't forget, you can also check out Gunner on TNA Impact Wrestling every single Thursday night on Spike TV. If you want to follow him, and I highly would recommend that you do, you give him a follow on TNA_Gunner on Twitter. He's also on Instagram. And let's not also forget, he's also on Facebook. And remember what he just said about Facebook. You'll be able to tell him apart from the others because he has about 5,000 or more likes on his Facebook page. So that's how you'll be able to tell him apart. Make sure you give him a follow. Support him. Check him out for all his upcoming appearances that he's going to be making, whether it be TNA wrestling related or indie wrestling related. Definitely show him some love. And folks, that's going to do it. I greatly would appreciate you guys' feedback. Let us know how you enjoyed the interview. You can hit us up on Twitter. You can send me a personal email at infinityOneProductions@gmail.com. And that's going to do it for Gunner. On behalf of those of you that tuned in to check out this episode, we greatly and humbly appreciate it. You all be safe, be kind to one another. Everybody, take care.